Hi guys, so by now you should have this whole unit circle in your books, and you need to keep on referring to this back in your bound reference because it's going to keep on coming up for the rest of the topic. Alright, so the type of questions you might get here is, for example, having a look at this first one. If sine x is equal to 0.8, find the value of sine of pi minus x. Okay, so let's go down here, just go down a bit further. So we know sine of pi minus x is equal to sine of x, because the reference angle, going back up here, in the second quadrant, psi of pi minus theta is just sine theta, positive sine theta. Okay? So the reference angle, x, is the same. Alright? And we know that sine of x is 0.8 from back up here. Okay? Let's have a look at another one. So sine of pi plus x. Okay? So pi plus x, we know it's in the third quadrant. In the third quadrant, sine of pi plus theta is equal to negative sine of the reference angle, which in this case is x. Negative sine x is, sine x is 0.8, so that's negative 0.8. Once again, sine x is 0.8, and this time we've got the negative. Okay, so sine of pi plus x is negative 0.8. See, sine of 2 pi minus x. And let's see, pause the video here and see if you can find what the answer would be here. So sine of 2 pi minus x, we know that this, going 2 pi, full revolution, then taking away the reference angle, is in the fourth quadrant. Now in the fourth quadrant, 2 pi minus theta is equal to negative sine theta. So using the reference angle again, so the important part here is this second value is the reference angle. That's negative sine of x, which is equal to negative 0.8. And finally D, sine of negative x. Okay, so negative x is, remember, all that is doing is going in the opposite direction, the same amount. So that's going into quadrant 4. Okay, so that's just negative sine x. Okay, so it's exactly the same as this question here. Okay, because it's just sine of negative x just means it's going in the clockwise direction. So it's going into quadrant 4, which is negative 0.8. Okay, so you can see how using this unit circle gives you the reference angle and then the angle that you can figure out in the referring it back to the first quadrant. So let's look at another example which might help you out as well. Alright, well, will help you out. So if sine x is equal to negative sine of pi on 4, find the possible values of x. Okay, so question here is, where is sine negative? Well, we know it's not negative in quadrant 1 because everything's positive. Quadrant 2, everything's also positive. But quadrants 3 and 4 is where sine is negative. Okay? So quadrants 3, quadrant 4. So in quadrant 3, the reference angle is sine of pi plus theta. Now in this case, we know that the reference angle is pi on 4. So we have sine of pi plus pi on 4. Pi plus pi on 4 is sine of 5 pi on 4. So x could equal 5 pi on 4, okay? Because sine of 5 pi on 4 is the same as negative sine pi on 4, okay? So sine of 5 pi on 4 is just sine of pi plus pi on 4. Alright, so that's one possible value of x, and then in quadrant 4 we know that it's sine of 2 pi minus theta, which in this case, with a reference angle that they've already given us, is sine of 2 pi minus pi on 4. So 2 pi is the same as 8 pi on 4 minus pi on 4, so it's equal to sine of 7 pi on 4. Okay, so key steps here is identifying where will sine be negative and then substituting in this reference angle into those values of theta. Okay? Alright, last one, which I want you guys to try first. If sine x is equal to positive sine pi on 4, find the possible values of x. So first step, what areas would that be? So that would be in quadrants 1, it is positive, and quadrant 2, both positive. So this one's a bit easy for the first one, quadrant 1. Well, when does sine x equal sine pi on 4? When x is equal to pi on 4. There's no looking back up here. In the first quadrant, there's no manipulation of the reference angle, as you've just got theta there by itself. Okay. The other area that's true is when you got sine in the second quadrant of pi minus theta, which is equal to sine of pi minus pi on 4, which is 4 pi on 4 minus pi on 4. So it's equal to sine of 3 pi on 4. So this fits when x is equal to 3 pi on 4. Alright, you'll find examples, these examples match up with the questions in exercise 14A. Good luck, guys.